Sisi turudi nyuma kidogo. You said that your mom passed away in Form 1. How was it like?
It was really hard. It's something I never saw coming. It's something I was never prepared for.
What happened to her?
She suffered cancer, ovarian cancer, and it was really, really hard because I remember the last words she told me was she was to come back and celebrate my success in KCPE. So having to hear that she passed away, it was really, really tough for me, being a firstborn. I had to be strong for my siblings, and in some way it drained me as well, because I thought being strong was not grieving her, but I realized I was really, really doing something that wasn't supposed to be done. I was supposed to grieve, which I didn't. So in some way it really affected me mentally, psychologically. I would have low self-esteem. Sometimes I would, most of the times I would separate myself from just to cry and be sorry for myself. But with time I realized this was getting me nowhere, because every time I would relapse, and I told myself, what can I do to stop the pain and not forget my mom, but rather celebrate her, and also in a way to move on with my life and also do something different for myself. So it now then goes back to starting with my journey of salvation. And after despite the challenges I've experienced through it, I discovered there was a way I could deal with grief. So I started with writing how I felt. Like when the days I wake up, I start feeling so low, I start feeling like I miss my mom so much, I would write down something good about her that I can remember. So I did that for a whole year, and it was in a diary. So at the end of that year, I started reading that diary again, from the first entry to the last entry. And the more I kept on reading about what I would write down about her, the more I started realizing how I appreciated her life, the time we've spent together. I started appreciating it more, and the more I appreciated it, the more I felt I was healing. The more I felt I am starting to heal, the more I started feeling that maybe I can use this as a testimony someday. I would encourage myself that I would use this as a testimony, because I know there are people out there dealing with grief in very, very terrible ways. So that's how I developed my passion with writing, and now I use writing as a form to help other people out there who didn't find a way to deal with grief. Because now that I dealt a better part of my teenagehood, I dealt with grief personally. I didn't want how it affected me. Well, I would say it affected all areas of my life. My social life especially, I wouldn't be able to interact with my friends well. And at some point I really felt that I sank in depression, because I would always think of bad things of myself. And I remember there was a day I got to the point of thinking of suicide.
What?
Yeah, I still remember that day very well. I was really crying. I was in my room. I was really crying. I felt like my life was officially over, and the challenges, I wasn't able to handle them. I felt that now that I've given my life to Christ and I'm having these thoughts of suicide, I felt I failed myself even as a Christian. So I started blaming myself a lot, and I didn't know that at that point I needed Christ a lot. So I went on further to start writing a whole paragraph of you see those people that sometimes when somebody wants to commit suicide, they start writing a suicide note.
Oh.
Yeah, I started.
So you went to that extent?
Yeah, it went to that extent. I was so much in pain, and my mind was really clouded. I wasn't thinking straight at that time. So I wrote a whole paragraph, I would say almost 4 full scarves. Yeah, I wrote 4 full scarves.
What did you say? What was written in there?
I would say apologized to anyone who did wrong. I did wrong too. And then I remember writing, apologizing to my dad, apologizing to my brother and sister for failing them as a firstborn. And then I apologized to my church. I apologized to my school. But the moment I finished writing it, a thought ran into my mind, and I asked myself, what am I doing? At that point, I started thinking, if I go on further to commit suicide, what kind of pain will I leave behind? I would leave so much pain. And I asked myself, what if there are people out here who really do care about me? And that's when I started thinking that my friends, my close friends, my brother and my sister.
Let me ask you were you close to your dad?
Yeah.
So you were close?
Yeah.
And why couldn't you talk to him?
I was scared, and I felt like my father, being a reverend himself, I thought that this would really, really disappoint him. He would feel disappointed in me. Actually, he doesn't know till date. Yeah, he doesn't know that at some point I wanted to commit suicide, because I saw that if I let him know about this, he would really feel bad, and I didn't want him to feel as a failure, because my dad is my stronghold. So I didn't want him to feel as a failure and maybe start blaming himself for failure of being a father to me. That's why I never told him. But when that day, actually, when I was writing that note and I stopped, I remember I told myself, if now I decide to commit suicide, I would have caused him more damage than even if I would have told him. So I tore those papers, I disposed them, and I remember I knelt down and I prayed, I cried, I was so overwhelmed, and I told myself I didn't want to let this go. I had started my salvation journey, but I felt like I failed. So I felt like I needed to be restored. And I remember there was a day in church, the pastor was speaking. I went and rededicated my life to Christ, and that's how I got baptized on 25th December. That's the day I tell myself I feel like I'm authentic now. Because I told myself, why did I give my life to Christ and start thinking of suicide and all those things? So I told myself, if for the sake of even my own family, I won't take my life away. And I told myself I would use this as a testimony to someone else who has given up, because suicide is not an option. Suicide is never an option, because suicide will bring more pain than even a solution. Suicide is never a solution, and that's how I learned to confide in God, because God walked me through it.
So at this time when you wrote the paper and then you decided, you know what, I'm not going to kill myself, I'm going to do all this and this. At this point, this is when we started fighting the depression. You started fighting it at that time.
Yeah.
Okay.
I told myself I'll have to force myself to become better. I'll have to force myself to get out of this cocoon that I was trapped in. And I would say that's how writing helped me. I started by writing random pieces of paper. Actually, it would be a sticky note that I would appreciate myself. Today I appreciate myself because I was able to get to class. Today I appreciate myself because I woke up and I was able to I would do the little things that would appreciate me, and I would keep those sticky notes in a jar.
Is it like that you are blaming yourself for anything? Because now you are writing these sticky notes to appreciate yourself and make yourself feel good. So, was the depression out of something that had made you feel bad about yourself?
Actually, it started with grief, but then at some point it went on further. I started blaming myself to the littlest thing that I couldn't achieve. You see, especially when I started performing poorly in my exams, I would blame myself. And even when I told you, when I gave my life to Christ during the weekend challenge, and I thought that my life would be smooth, but it wasn't smooth. I blamed myself for going back. Every time going back, and I keep on telling myself that as a born again Christian, I'm supposed to behave in a certain way. But here I am, still crying, still grieving, still doing this and that. And sometimes I would fail to pray, so that blame started. To burn that blame, and I realized the only way I could deal with this depression is if I start appreciating myself. So that's how I started writing down sticky notes for myself. And then every time I feel quite low, I would pick a sticky note out and read what it says. And then after I read about it, if I don't feel better that time, I would keep on reading until it is really registered in my mind. And that's how I started dealing with depression.
So you didn't get to a point of sharing it with someone?
No.
There's no one that helped you to get out of it?
One person did. It was a friend. She was in a different class though. And she was the one actually, I remember when I was overwhelmed, she was the one who actually, she walked with me from the time I lost my mom. So there was a day I was too overwhelmed. I couldn't hold everything together, and I just randomly looked for her. That was the only person I shared with at that time. And that's how she also helped me in some way. She would look for me every day in the evening. We take a walk in the field, and then she would ask me how my day was. So I would honestly say the only person I told about my depression was a friend. Only one person. Even none of my family members know that I was depression. And I really felt that they were the first people who would have known, because I would have been so much better off than having to deal with it myself. And that's how today I would say it's really, really good to share out when you feel like you're struggling with mental challenges and psychological overwhelmness. I would really encourage for somebody to share it out, because if I had shared it out earlier, it wouldn't have gotten me to that point where those suicides.
It would have been better. Wanasema a problem shared is a problem is half solved, something like that. A problem shared is a problem is half solved. So this is amazing. So what about now? How far have you gone in this your writing life and that?
Well, recently, that was 1 year ago. I was just randomly writing, but I wasn't sharing the articles out. So
And hold on kidogo. What do you write about? You just write about yourself up to now, appreciating yourself, or you change the perspective?
I changed the perspective. I write more on mental health and the aspect of also encouraging people who are struggling with things in their life. So far, I would say majority of my articles are majorly about mental health and handling them in a way that will help you heal and become even better and stronger. And how it was until recently that I started sharing the articles out. I would only write it in my book, but I didn't ever get in that point of sharing them out. So last year, 21st January, I started a website. I created a website. Should I say not from the start, but I used some templates in an app I knew, and I created a website where I started now transferring my articles there. And the first feedback I got from one of the articles I shared, I now realized the burden I had, because people really are hurting out here. So it even charged me more to continue writing. And that's how I started now my passion now, my interest. And I would say my goal is usually to help somebody out there who is struggling secretly. Not everyone is able to speak out like myself. I never spoke out, only to one person who knows it. And I told myself, it's okay to feel, for people to feel that way, but what are they doing about it? So it charged me to start writing about that, and I really get encouraged when somebody says that they were so low, but when they read that article they felt transformed. And I told God, please use me to transform somebody's life, to remove somebody out of that situation where they think of quitting life when they are Christians. Yeah.
And where can you find these articles?
Well, I usually have a link where somebody can access the website and read them. Yeah, the website is free. I don't charge anything. I don't intend to charge anyone.
Yeah.
It's a point of growth and beneficial to all of us. As much as I speak out to the person out there, I also speak to myself. So the articles I usually share them out where I can.
So if maybe you'll give me a link, I put it down there on the comment section, and then people go and have a look at them.
Yeah, it's okay.
Sijui niseme nini. I think that's it. Maybe if you have anything to add, do you have anything to encourage someone out there, someone that has been through depression, through grief, and they don't know how to handle it?
Well, to somebody out there struggling with depression and grief, I would say that healing isn't a journey that starts today and ends tomorrow. Healing is not linear. At some point you may feel like you're going back to the drawing point and you feel like there's no progress. Don't blame yourself. It's a process. It's not a process that you walk through alone. Walk with someone. Pray to God. Walk with God closely as well, because He's the one who is able to help you through that journey. And above all, struggle, fight for it, because healing won't be achieved if you sit there and continue blaming yourself and you have self-esteem. Just fight for it. Even as much as the battle may seem long, it is eventually worth it.
I feel encouraged as well. It's one way or the other. And thank you so much for coming to encouraging someone out there. There are a lot of people that are going through such things. People go through depression and grief, they never talk about it, and you will never know it. Just see them smiling out there, but deep underneath they are crying. And I know that, I don't know, I think probably there's someone in here that is watching and they've gone through such thing, and I hope that you have been encouraged, and I hope that you get out of that as soon as possible. Christ loves you. Yeah. So guys, that's it for today. Sijui niseme nini, niko ile mood ya kulia. Niko ile mood ya kulia. Guys, don't forget to subscribe. Guys, subscribe, share with your friends, and help me grow. And msisahau like this video so that it can be shared to more, so that YouTube can suggest it to more people. So tafadhali click that like kakitu, turn the bell on, and share with your friends. I love you so much, and thank you for supporting me. Goodbye for now. See you next time. Bye.